students, but we continue to make this budget available so that we can be in a position to attract the best students that are coming from the township so that they can perform and provide us with the relevant skills that are so dearly needed within the economy. So the Gauteng province will commence with the year-end National Senior Certificate examinations. We are starting with computer application technology and practicals examination on the 16th of October, which simply means that next week we've got those students that are interested in CAT and those students that are interested in computer lessons. They will continue with the examination next week. The examinations are intended to conclude on the 29th of November 2019, which simply means that from the month of October until the end of November, we are quarantining everything to ensure that we've got a smooth examination. This includes the printing of question papers, the delivery of those question papers, the storage of those question papers, but most importantly, of ensuring that our children don't cheat throughout this process. Last week Friday, myself and students from Tshwane, we signed a pledge that urges all our students to ensure that they don't do or bring things that will compromise the examination. You will recall that Tshwane was one area 2 years ago where some of the learners that got question papers that leaked in Limpopo, they've managed to get those question papers there. So the reason why we made this pledge around that area is to reiterate to our children to refrain from participating in activities that will compromise the examination. This year's examination is the 12th year since the inception of the National Senior Certificate. You will recall in 2008, the minister then introduced the new revamped National Senior Certificate, and this assists us to level the playing field across the province, but also to ensure that all our children are benchmarked through a common examination that is run by the National Ministry. This year alone, we are fielding 111,775 full-time students. We are fielding 111,775 full-time students and 41,599 part-time students. Unfortunately, our number this year compared to last year, it's low by 4,612 learners. This is purely and mainly being the last time that children will be writing what we called multi-examination opportunities. We've taken a decision as the MECs and the minister that this will be the last examination where we're giving children 2 opportunities to write the examination. Regardless of the number, we really believe that we've got the systems, our systems are ready to cater and accommodate all these learners so that they can write the examinations. We have formally registered 1,007 centers that are eligible to administer the 2019 examination. This is very, very important because the examination centers will assist to determine whether the examination was free and fair. So it's very, very important, therefore, that each and every center must be accredited and each and every center must be authorized to administer the NSC examination. So we've registered 1,007 centers, and across all our 15 districts in the province, we are quite convinced that those that have been given this mandate to register, to administer examination will do so. Of this, 667 centers are our schools, 235 centers are independent schools, 87 are adult centers, while 11 are correctional services, and the others are just designated centers for purpose of managing things that are outside the school premises. In preparation for this examination, we've trained all our chief invigilators. It's very, very important to train invigilators because with technology, gone are the days where you just invigilate by walking around the wall to check if learners are not copying notes and other things. You know, we've got watches now that learners bring, and some of the watches are not innocent. You know, you can Google things from your watch, you can get messages from your watch and other things. So the training of invigilators is very, very important so that they can track new trends and they can also monitor things that we believe we have. And you know, there are some people that have, young people call them, earpods and other things that are not, and others have caps that can communicate electronics, and others have bangles that has a chip, and that bangle can disseminate information. So we are working extremely hard with our chief invigilators to be vigilant and to ensure that some of these things are taken into consideration and that we don't leave things to chance. So an extensive network of monitors has been established across the province to assist all our monitors and also to assist all our invigilators to know the new trends, but most importantly, to monitor and invigilate this examination in a proper format without necessarily invading the privacy of our learners. We are also seeing a trend where other people are requesting other people to write on their behalf. That is why it's very, very important that all our students must bring their ID documents, and those that don't have ID documents must bring their temporary ID documents so that we know it's the right student that is writing the examination. And that's the emphasis and the investment that we have put on our invigilation training so that our invigilators can understand this kind of things. We want to ensure that even if when we perform well as the province, we do so fairly and we don't derive undue advantage on the basis of the tricks that our learners are bringing in the examination. So necessary arrangements has been made for the distribution and collection of question papers and answer sheets. We are quite convinced that this process, which is a huge magnitude, people might not be aware that the matric examination is the largest exercise compared to our national elections. The level of papers every day. Elections, you just conduct them once or twice on 2 days or a day. But with matric examination, it's every school across the country. So it's a massive, massive, massive exercise. So it's very, very important, therefore, that the systems are in place and we don't have problems. In terms of Gauteng, we are combat ready. We are only worried with one area. And I must be honest, we are deeply worried. So on Friday, we took an unusual step of removing children from El Rado Park Secondary School. We are taking them to camp tomorrow until Friday. Those learners have not been taught for the last 3 months. There have been a fight between the SGB and SATU. There were 3 teachers of SATU that felt that they were not safe at school, and they left the school to go and report at the district office. We tried to mediate, and after we have mediated, not 3, there are 7, sorry. There were 7 teachers that left the school feeling that they are not safe, and they then reported the matter to the department. The department then established an independent investigation. The investigation gave us a report, and upon implementation of that report, we then persuaded these 7 teachers to go back. Unfortunately, the community said they don't want those teachers back. Because the community said they don't want those teachers back, 14 other teachers who are members of SATU in that school also went all in solidarity with the 7 teachers that the community said they don't want. So we had almost 21 teachers that are not in that school, as I'm speaking to you now. On Friday, I was chairing a mediation team. Unfortunately, that mediation collapsed, and we reached a deadlock because SATU has filed a strike action to remove their members across so what they call Soweto Central. So on that basis, we didn't want to take a risk. We've taken a decision, therefore, that children from El Rado Park Secondary School must be removed immediately from that school while this impasse is still on, so that they can prepare for the examination. We always warn communities. There's one school that had a similar problem. Is it Klipspruit? Yeah, Klipspruit West. We had similar problems of the community and SADU. That school is the lowest performing school in that area, even today. So when you disrupt schools, it takes time to recover. And it's unfortunate that even El Rado Park Secondary School, which is commonly known as the Blue School, is one of our best performing schools. But I can tell you, out of these disruptions, these squabbles, this fight, I'm not confident with their results, and it's very, very unfortunate. We are also putting an intervention team to assist grade 11s to grade 8 as well, so that they don't go through difficulties as well when they're dealing with this particular matter. We have invested a lot as a province. We spent not less than 250 to 300 million, depending on the programs, on giving learners a second chance. A second chance means that they go to camp, they attend Saturday schools, they attend afternoon schools. We give them extra copies of study guides, we give them extra copies of previous question papers. But this will hopefully will reduce the cost, because we launched a platform where all this academic information is easily available to our learners, our educators, and our parents. Our online curriculum platform, we really believe it's a major, major success in the history of our country. For the very, very first time, we've managed to digitalize all our curriculum content. So there's no curriculum content from all our subjects that is not available. So even a parent can log in, and if your child asks you for a homework and you are not sure, you can log in, listen to that teacher teaching, listen to the program in terms of a video, in terms of animation, in terms of previous question papers. You can also set your own test for your own child, and the system will mark that test and indicate to you your child is struggling here because of A, B, C, D. So we are quite excited with that investment, and we are thrilled that these investments came handy before our learners start their matric examination. Even though it was formulated in Gauteng, anyone can go in and use that information, and we intend to make it available to our provincial counterparts so that our children across the country can be in a position to benefit of those things. As I said, the content is supported by videos, 3D animations, audio, and can be uploaded from grade 4 until grade 12. And we are indeed thrilled. We really believe it's a huge investment, and we're taken aback when one publication, before we can even launch this system, they said that their website had failed. When we launched it on Friday, the website didn't fail. What has failed is that we had almost hackers across the province that were trying to hack the system, forgetting that we are now scalams out of the process of online registration that we had, so no one can hack us now. So the hackers failed to hack the system. The system is up and running, and they said that system will fail, and we're quite excited that it's still going on. As we deal with this issue of matric examination, I want to reiterate the call that I made last year and I'm making now, and I'm making it also in the political platform, especially the ruling party platform, to say that South African children deserve to write one single examination across the country. We are one country, we must have one examination. This thing of having an independent examination board and National Senior Certificate Examination Board and other examinations that are administered by other countries in our own country must come to an end. There's no difference. The IEB examination is also monitored by Umalus. Our National Senior Certificate is also monitored by Umalus. But besides, all these students, after they've written this examination, they go to the same university. There's no University of IEB in this country, and there's no University of National Senior Certificate. The continuation of two separate examinations in this country jeopardize the poor, purely because those that are perceived to have quality examinations are the ones that are taken by universities first, and later on, those that are perceived not to have a quality examination are then taken over. They miss on bursaries, They missed on international offers that are available. They miss on many things purely because they are writing in an examination that other people believe is not quality examination. If IEB is the best examination, why are we not writing IEB, all of us in the country? Why others must write an examination that is perceived not to be quality, and others are writing an examination that... So we need to level that. And that is why we are making a call that we need a new independent body, that the Department of Basic Education must not be a player and a referee of an examination. The Department of Basic Education must appoint an independent examination agency to administer examinations across the country, so that everyone can write that examination. We really believe it will improve the quality education, it will improve and develop our educators better, it will make us to be at the higher level compared to our peers across the globe. So it's very, very important that this debate is not misunderstood, and this debate is not taken as an attack of any institution or other institution. We can't have one country having different examination for their matriculants. One country, one examination for all our learners. We really believe it will level the playing field in the country and ensure that everything is fine within the country. We must also note that there are potential areas where we believe we need to monitor the situation in terms of violence, disruption, service delivery protest. But we are part of a national NAF joint center where all these things are monitored at the center, so that in case the weather changes or in case there are protests in a particular area, we'll be in a position to assist and deal with these things. But also let's record our disappointment with the level of violence that we have recorded in our schools. We are indeed seeing lots and lots of violence, and we are working very, very close with the Department of Safety, and we're excited with the work that they've done in the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, they've invaded and raided some of our schools that are problematic, and out of those particular raids, they've managed to get guns, drugs, knives, and other weapons. And we want to encourage the South African Police Service and the Department of Community Safety to continue with these particular raids until our children conclude writing their examinations, so that no one is intimidated from writing the examination. You'll recall that last week we also had a television show from a show called Carte Blanche, where it portrayed a certain dance school where learners have leveled allegations of sexual harassment and other related matters, and they wanted the department to act on this matter. The department have since assessed this particular school, and we've established that this school is not registered in Gauteng. It is registered in the northwest or in other provinces. It's not registered in our province, and therefore on Friday, the HOD of the department wrote a letter to this particular school to cease to function immediately. And it's very unfortunate because this is a very, very important school, and I really appreciate the principal of the school. Is a very, very talented person, and we'll find a way of assisting them to go through this difficulty so that they can continue to provide that kind of service to our learners. We are, in conclusion, the department have continued to service its partnership with Childline so that we can assist learners who experience stress due to exam pressure or after receiving their results. Learners can phone Childline on their toll-free number 0800 055 555. That is 0800 055 555 or 011 645 2000 during working hours. This is a free counseling services that will assist our students, and we are encouraging parents as well. If they pick up symptoms that may sound as if the learner is under pressure, parents can also call this free toll-free number so that they can be given advice that will assist their children. We are wishing all our children the best of luck as we will release the results on the 3rd of January 2020. Each learner will receive their results at their school and will be in a position to release the results publicly as a department. We are indeed excited as a department that we've put everything in order, and we are thrilled that our learners will find an examination that is smooth, an examination that is secured, but most importantly, a very challenging examination, I must say it. It's not going to be easy because we are strengthening our skills base as a province, and we're ensuring that we can grow Gauteng together and ensure that this province becomes the home of champions and that this province can continue to excel in education and other areas. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much, MEC. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the drill now. Raise your hand, we indicate and we ask. In the order of 1, 2, 3. Yes, please.
Thank you so much, MEC, for my activities. Can I just ask, in my recent earlier briefing last week had said that they had noted that Gauteng had an issue of a shortage of markers for the English paper 3, home language paper 3. Can you just please tell us how you've managed to resolve this? Has this an issue that has been resolved? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many learners will be motivating this year. So if you can give me the number of learners that are motivating. And then also I know that the first school of specialization will be writing the exam. I want to know, are you looking out for that? Are you hopeful that the result will be in favor, considering the fact that the department has invested a lot of money and resources into that particular program as a whole?
Okay, Zola.
Zoleka Kukashi, SABC Radio. Last year, the department in Gauteng recorded a pass rate of over 70%, and you attributed that to township development. Are you expecting to see the same kind of results? Because we've seen the department this year continue to accelerate such programs.
Okay, so
MEC?
No, let me rectify Zolega. We recorded not over 70, 87.4%. 87. It's a massive. Well, our target is 90% this year, to be quite frank. It's not easy. All our managers that are responsible for curriculum development, they've signed a performance contract of 90%. So that we remain competitive as a province. We're not saying this purely because we want to put pressure on our children. I mean, if you achieve 90%, it basically means out of 10 matriculants, 9 have passed. We really believe it's a huge contribution to the elimination of unemployment, and it's a huge contribution to our skills base so that our children can be part of this process. So we remain hopeful, though, like I must be honest. We really believe that we can reach that particular target. The good thing as well is that there were subjects that were done by our children that were not part of the matric results. When we count matric results, some of those subjects were not included. And now that, purely because tertiary institutions still have that veto to determine which subjects can be part of learners that have to proceed to their tertiary institution. So there has been a relaxation of some of those subjects. So we are quite convinced that it will therefore assist us to perform very well. Indeed, you know, if you take our school of specialization, Keti Sunkondo, to us it's a school of the future. That under normal circumstances, all our schools must be like Keti Sunkondo. That is why we've made that huge investment. From the school infrastructure, the caliber of the teachers that we've hired there, the caliber of the devices learners. These are the learners that don't know a chalk and a chalkboard or a duster. From when they entered that school, they've been on the paperless platform. So they are writing matric for the first time. You can imagine now anxious we are, we can imagine the huge investment that we've placed. So this is how we want to rectify education in our province. So if we can get it wrong there, then we've run out of ideas. So that is why we are monitoring it closely, and that is why we are investing the kind of resources that we're investing in that school. But I'm hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful that they will do well. DDG will give you, I don't have the numbers of how many learners are modulating, and also the English paper 3 challenges that were raised by Umalus. I'm not sure, DDG, are you aware of those things?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, MEC. The number of learners that have progressed, and that's determined at the beginning of each year or at the end of each year. It's about 13,000. When we speak about learners who are going to be modularize, we call them MEO learners. It's done after the trial exam. So we're in the process of finalizing that, because there's a process of engagement that must take place between the school and the parents. So that number is not yet finalized, because, as I've said, it happens after the trial exam. A learner would have had to fail 3 or more subjects in order for them to be modulated. The issue of the markers, MEC, we have dealt with it when we're going to have block marking. And that's the way in which we deal with that particular issue. But we are aware of it. Umalusi's recommendations to us to manage it, and we are dealing with it.
Thank you very much. Do we have the next round? I'll start with you, 1. I'm taking you 1, and you hand 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. In that order. Okay.
Thank you, MC. And hold this news. We have seen the announcement recently that grade 9 will be recognized as an exit point or a point of recognition in the education system in South Africa. Were the provincial departments consulted by the Department of Basic Education, and what's your view as the Gauteng Department of Education on this movement?
Okay, the second.
Stephen from Mobile Newspaper. When you see the question around the school readiness program, is the new content platform ready to enable the current students, especially the tricks, to actually be using it and to actually encourage them, since it's a very good time, to actually use it as a study time, so to actually get their head on themselves. That's it.
Who's the third one? Sleep. It's you.
Sorry, Sweden from the NCA. I just wanted to find out what kind of measures the department has in place in terms of psychosocial services. We're seeing, especially in terms of the stabbings that have been taking place, in particular the recent one. I mean, what's going to happen with those individuals? I'm pretty sure there's some kind of trauma that they're going to have to deal with.
Okay. Yeah, what's up?
Okay. Can we just please also just get an update? We have had some parents in the Senate who are concerned about the rate in which you're turning out placements. We are still within that placement season. Can you tell us, what is the latest, if you have those type of figures? And have you also been having queries about new applications, what people wanting to apply? And then we can talk about those markers after this.
The Umalusi briefing, they mentioned the fact that there are certain centers which are, like they call them risk centers. So I want to know whether the Gauteng Education have such centers and what measures are in place to monitor such centers?
Missy?
Thank you so much. Yes, in Takwani, we were part of that decision and we supported vigorously. I think South Africans misunderstood the minister badly with the grade 9 certificate. It's not an exit point. It's not that learners cease to continue to go to grade 12. What we have done is that we have invested a lot of money.
Coming out of that briefing by the Gauteng MEC for Education, Panyanza Lesufi, who was talking about the province's readiness for matric exams and all the systems they've put in place to make sure that they run smoothly. But he also went on to talk about other matters, including all the interventions that the Gauteng Department of Education is going through in efforts to improve education in the province. He also touched on the stories of violence in schools that we've been hearing about throughout the weekend, the work they have been doing with the South African police services to make sure that this scourge, that they nip it in the bud. And he also touched on that website that was hugely criticized during the week that the department was trying to launch, but that encountered many troubles. He was saying that there were hackers making efforts to make sure that the system doesn't go online, but that they have all of that under control. Let's take a break. You're watching the